go help Big Brother with chores?
Yeah.
All right. Have fun. All right. Bye-bye. Hello everyone, welcome back to the homestead. This is the time of year when I just want to be in the garden all day long. Winter is still hanging on a little bit here in the Missouri Ozarks, so we do still get frost, and we actually this last week had a little dusting of snow, but most of the days are so beautiful. It's just perfect weather for being out in the garden. The daffodils are in bloom, and I'm always amazed at how they weather the lingering winter storms that come. They can be, you know, covered in ice and snow, and then the next day they just bounce right back and they're ready to go again. So anyway, although I would love to be in the garden all day, most days this time of year, I still have lots of other responsibilities. As you other mothers and homemakers know, there's a lot that goes into keeping a home. And when you've got many children and homeschooling and all of that, it ends up not leaving much time to be in the garden. And so today I thought I would share some of the ways that I've learned to be a mama of littles and still find time to garden. So I've got 7 ideas for you here today, and I would love it if any of you got ideas that you would love to share. Please leave comments below, and hopefully we can all encourage each other and find ways to be in the garden and be together as a family and really just enjoy the blessing of our garden spaces, no matter how big or small they are. Alright, so number 1, the first thing I've learned to do is to have a plan before I even go into the garden. And now this is not always a reality. Sometimes I have to go out into the garden with no plan at all and just kind of wing it. But it really helps when I have a plan before I go into the garden. And so I've been using things like maps. I love to draw, and so I'll do kind of overlay maps of our different garden spaces and write down ideas of what to plant where. I also keep just kind of a monthly to-do list that I've done for about 4 years now, and I can kind of look back on previous years. And so at the beginning of each month I'll make a list of the things that need to be done for the month. And then something else that I do is I prepare supplies ahead of time. So labeling markers, getting pots in order, things that are necessary for the tasks of the day. I kind of try and get those in order before I even head out to the garden. And most of the planning is done without the children. It's harder for me to interact with people and think through things. I kind of just need to have quiet time to do that. So I'll often do the garden planning maybe at night when the littles are down already, if they happen to take a nap, or every once in a while Kip will just take all the littles and give me some time to do some planning. And that's wonderful too. Alright, number 2, the second thing I've learned to do is to allow my children to have play areas in the garden. This is a little bit challenging for me because I really like a tidy space, and when you allow for play areas in the garden, it does get a little bit messy at times. But it is so helpful to be able to have them near me while I'm working on different projects, so I can still watch them and interact with them, but they can kind of be doing their own thing in their own little play area while I'm working on certain projects in the garden. So number 3, the third thing I've learned to do is figure out what age appropriate tasks the littles can help with. And this will vary depending on the child, but for example, a 4-year-old could help keep the 2-year-old from pulling up all the flowers or walking through the beds that have just been planted, that sort of thing. Another task that pretty much anyone can help with, big or small, is mixing soil. This year I'm using just a little kiddie pool that's been working great to mix some soil and things together. Many of you know we kind of are out of compost this year, and I haven't been able to get a bunch of compost made, so I'm just using the square foot gardening mix of equal parts peat moss, compost or garden soil, and perlite or vermiculite.
Helping, Mama.
You're helping. You're doing such a good job. So that's a really fun job that the littles really enjoy. Older children, often I put them in charge of weeds because they know what's a weed and what's not. Yeah, so I've learned that it's okay to not allow the littlest of children to do the things that are more difficult, like planting teeny tiny seeds. Radishes are a great one for the littles because the seeds are a little bit bigger and they can handle that better. It's okay to say no on certain tasks for the very young ones. You just kind of have to know your children, and sometimes you may have them do a task that they're just not quite ready for and it ends up being a mess, and that's okay, but you learn through that and they learn through that. The fourth thing I've learned to do is to give the children their own garden spaces. Especially the little ones. They really enjoy having their own spaces to call their own little garden beds to do what they want to do with. And again, if you're like me, you like a tidy and organized and well-planned garden, that can be a little bit challenging, but I think so worth it. For a little one to have their own space like that just means the world to them. So as a mom, I'm willing to give up some spaces here and there and let them get a little bit crazy so that they can enjoy having that ownership over their own little garden space.
Here's my garden space right here, so I haven't finished all those things yet. So I haven't planted all of them yet.
You have an empty space where you're going to plant some things in a little while, huh?
So I'm going to put some white flowers here, pink flowers here, purple flowers here, and more onions here, big flowers, onions here. And then I'm going to do some blue flowers here and black flowers here. And then some red and some brown flowers here. What we're going to plant here is we're going to do a big space here. So then I can put some yellow flowers and some orange flowers here.
Wonderful, that's going to be beautiful. Can you show us what you already have planted?
Here I have some strawberries and some garlic and some onions. And some strawberries. And here I have some more strawberries.
Yep. Bunch of little strawberries, huh?
Yeah.
So this is
what I need.
So this is all her bed along here.
That's my bed.
This is your bed?
Yeah.
Mr. Pike gave you some fun things to put in your little spot, huh?
Yeah.
Do you like having a little garden space?
Yeah.
Yeah. Esther Pie, you've got a big space now because you're a big girl, huh?
Yep.
And we keep expanding it every year. That's been fun, huh?
Yep.
So show us what you've got going for right now.
So right now I have this bed right here. You have a little bit of the raised bed over there.
It's looking beautiful.
Yeah, cute. And we just put 2 pots in with peonies.
Yeah. So got a pot here with a peony, kind of on the edge of the garden, her garden space here, and then on the other edge of her garden over there is another pot to kind of tie in her whole corner back here. And then over here we've got J-Bud's bed.
This is my garden space, and this year we're going to be expanding it, and I'm hoping to put some more plants in it.
Yeah, we're going to probably be taking the edge off of this and pouring cement over on that side and extending his garden bed out that way a little bit. Do you like having your own garden space?
Yeah.
Alright, number 5. I've learned that it's okay to ask for help. Sometimes as moms, we just feel like we have to do it all, like we're the only ones and we just have to make it work. But it's okay to ask for help from the older children. I think they appreciate that purpose and being able to help in the garden. It's okay to ask for other adults to come and help. We're all in different seasons of life, and so it's not a bad thing to ask for help. For me, the biggest help has been having my older children help with the younger children. When I have tasks to do that the little ones just aren't capable of really helping with. So I'm really thankful for my older children and their willingness to step in and help even without being asked. They'll often just see that I'm beginning to get a little stressed and they'll just come in and take the little ones away to do something fun. And that helps me tremendously. Okay, number 6. I have learned that it's okay to carve out spaces in the garden that aren't for growing food, that are just simply places to sit and enjoy each other. I believe that the garden is just one of the most wonderful places that you can be together as a family. It should be a peaceful place, a beautiful place where you can just enjoy being together and not always have to be working. Sometimes I'll just go out into the garden just to walk around, and before I know it, I've got 2, 3 little ones following me around, or a big kid coming out to just chat with me. Gardens, I believe, are not just for growing food. They're a place of peace and beauty to be together as a family and just enjoy each other. So little by little, we're creating more and more of those type of spaces in our gardens. So we will have a little bit less food, but that's okay, because I really think it's important for the garden to be a place to enjoy each other. And the last thing, number 7, that I have learned is that it's actually okay for me as a mom to spend time in the garden alone. Yes, I want to have my children there as much as possible. I want them to know that it's a place that they're welcome. I don't want them to grow up with a bitter taste in their mouth about gardening because they were always pushed away. But every once in a while, it's okay as a mom to just go and be alone for a while. Have time to think and pray, be with the Father. So there are times that I will just ask the children to allow me to be alone for a little bit. And it can make the times later of being together in the garden with others that much more pleasant and wonderful if you've been able to have that quiet time to yourself. So take time to yourself, mamas, to be quiet and still, and that's a good thing. And here they are. As I've been videoing one after another, little ones have come in. It's just, I guess the garden spaces, the greenhouse even, it's almost like a little magnet. One person goes out and the others just trickle and follow. It's a wonderful thing. I love having garden spaces. I don't know how I lived most of my life without the garden. It's pure joy. Such a wonderful place to be. So if you have some tips for gardening with little ones, please leave them in the comments below. Thank you so much to all of our patrons who make these videos possible. We really appreciate you guys. So thank you all for watching. If you have a garden, I hope that you're enjoying your space and inviting your children into that space as much as you possibly can. And until next time, pray blessings over you and yours. Whatever you do it with your whole heart.
They're hot.